Come onto your mat at the back edge in Child Pose. So coming down onto your shins, taking your knees however wide helps your hips release and your head release. Give yourself a few breaths here with your hands out in front, pressing the floor away so that you can slide your shoulders back, lengthen your low back, press your butt cheeks back over your heels. And then either rest your hands under your head or wrap them back around by your feet. Bring yourself onto the mat mentally, energetically, as well as physically. Noticing how you are. Taking a few deeper breaths, shifting into Ujjayi Pranayama, and using the exhale to let go of whatever doesn't serve you in this moment, whatever distracts you from your breath and from your body. If there's something that you'd like to draw into yourself as you step into your practice, then think of inhaling that in. Taking the next few inhales to draw in. If you're not sure what it is you might like to draw in, just draw in a bigger breath, a little bit more energy. Keep your breath flowing steadily, and if your hands are under your head, release them out and find where your head can rest on the ground or on a support. And then wrap your hands around behind your back, interlace your fingers, drawing your palms towards each other. Your wrists may or may not get close together, depends on your shoulders. Find the action of Yoga Mudra, the symbol of yoga. Find the action for this posture in your shoulders, more than straining through your wrists. So draw your inner shoulder blades towards each other. Feel how that opens your upper chest, and take your breath up into that opening. Inhale, breathe up into your upper ribs and chest and shoulders and neck. And as you exhale, draw your arms up away from your back, just as much as you can then inhale into. So check, can you breathe there? If your shoulders slice down into your neck, reach your interlaced fingers up towards the sky. Clear your shoulders away from your neck, drawing your arms towards each other. Give this posture one more inhale, and as you exhale, release your arms down. Find your breath in your belly. Use your inhale to uncurl. And as you're coming up to kneeling, lift your arms up and out to the sides. Draw them up overhead. Press your palms together. Draw them down along your midline. And as you release to your heart, let your shoulders settle down. Tuning in to yourself, into your practice, into the qualities, the meaning of the mantra, naming infinite creative consciousness, divine wisdom within. If you're joining in with your voice, breathe in for the first of 3. As you inhale, release your hands forward, bring yourself forward, and come all the way belly down on the mat. We're going to do a variation of Cobra Pose called Kundalini Cobra that we did in level 2. So bring your feet out as wide as the mat so your toenails are outside the mat, and roll your little toenails down to touch the ground. So your outer hips drop down and you can aim your tailbone back towards your feet by drawing your belly in and up. Walk your hands back underneath your shoulders so your thumbs are about level with your nipples. And then aim your elbows back towards your feet so your shoulders roll away from your neck as you rest your forehead on the ground. Find out how to breathe here now that you're belly down, and especially having that core engagement to lengthen your low back. And the next time that you inhale, lift your head and your chest up and just come up to the point where you can also lift your hands off the ground, where your back is holding you and you're not forcing it with your hands. Keep breathing. Bring the heels of your hands back down, fingers off the ground, and use your triceps, the upper back of the arms that you strengthened in those cat presses, to traction your ribcage, your sternum forward towards the front edge of the mat. So you lengthen from your toes behind you, your tailbone stretching back to your sternum and your head stretching forward. And then see if there's any more movement to come up and breathe into that. Inhale to lift. Keep lengthening out as you exhale and come back down. Inhaling, lifting up, exhaling, coming out and down. Throughout this movement, as you move with your breath, inhale, come up, exhale, release down. Focus on the lengthening. Use your triceps, upper backs of your arms to help you. And keep your gaze on the ground so the back of your neck is long. And instead of leading with your chin, you're leading with your sternum, the very middle top portion of your rib cage, your breastbone. Think of dragging yourself off the front edge of the mat. As much length as you can. Notice if your feet lift or your little toes curl up off the ground. Press the little toe side of your foot down to give your pelvis space. This next time that you come up to your highest point where you can breathe, check that your elbows are still tucked right in and your shoulder blades are on your back and you're breathing steadily. And then look over your right shoulder. As you do, drop your shoulder back towards your right hip. Shrink the right ribs in. You might even be able to see your right foot. Even though you're looking back, draw your chest forward, lengthen, breathe into it. Use your exhale to release back down to center. And your inhale to come back up, finding that fullest point again, feeling your toenails on the ground, tailbone stretching back. When you get to that fullest point, look over your left shoulder. Drop your shoulder back away from your chin, lots of space under your chin. And yet, even though you're looking back, you might see your left foot. Draw forward with your hands so that you lengthen. Use your next exhale to release back down into crocodile. Stack your arms, one on top of the other, and rest your head on top. Bring your feet back onto the mat. Turn your toes in, your heels out, if that works for your knees, and let your body go. Release it. Let your shoulders, your underarms drop down. Notice if your butt was clenched, if it was doing a lot of the work of lifting you up in Cobra. Release. Let your jaw relax, and use your breath to massage your back, to breathe along your spine. So we're going to continue to strengthen through the core. Having done a bit with the back core, now we'll move to the sides, the side core. Lengthen out through your left arm. Turn your left palm up and walk your right hand back by your chest and push the ground away so you roll over onto your left side. We're doing side lying half moon. If you're not sure of your alignment, lift up onto your left hand and look down the side, the right side of your body, and see that your ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, and left arm are all in the same line. Energize your feet. If you're not sure about them, look at them. See that your big toes and little toes line up with your heels, like your feet are up against a wall. Use your right hand for balance as you lift both legs off the ground by shrinking your right waist. So it's just a continuation of what we just did in Kundalini Cobra at the end. And as you lift your legs up, feel that your right hip is stacked on top of your left. If you've rolled back onto your left butt cheek, you may have come unstacked. So roll your right hip towards your right hand, squaring your hips to face off the long side of the mat in front of you. So it's more about your side waist and less about your back. Drop your right shoulder down so you're shrinking your shoulder and your hip towards each other. If you want to take this a little deeper, lift your long arm above you, and do that by keeping it long, using the energy of the right waist, shrinking in to lengthen out from the left fingers through the outer edge of the left foot, so you're a sickle-shaped moon lying on the ground. Make sure you're breathing. Use your next exhale to release down, roll through your belly over to the other side. Lengthen out through your right arm, setting up for side-lying half moon on your right side. Again, feel free to lift up, look, and see that your body is all in line. It's hard to tell from inside sometimes, so getting the perspective you need to get your alignment, your symmetry. And once you're ready, left hand in front of you, right arm long, palm facing up, shoulders broad, lift your legs, keeping your feet energized. Little toes and big toes in line with heels. Shrinking the left waist, keeping your front hips squared to the long edge of the mat in front of you. And if you want to intensify this, start to lift your right arm, your long arm above you, and see if you can use your arm to lift your head instead of your head to lift your arm. And breathing. Keep the breath flowing, keep the ocean sound. For some reason in this posture it gets lost, so see if you can hear the breath and use it to help you be in the posture. With your next exhale, release down, and as you release, come onto your back and draw your knees in towards you. You can interlace your fingers if your shoulder blades stay underneath you. Otherwise, hold your shins individually, or even hold the back of your thighs if that's an easier reach. Relax your feet, uncross them, and use your arm strength to draw your thighs down. And then direct your breath into your belly and your belly towards your thighs. Even if your belly is already touching your thighs, open it more towards your thighs on the inhale. And on the exhale, draw your thighs down a little bit more. So with each successive breath, you get a little smaller, yet your breath remains large. Find where your shoulder blades are broad underneath you. Back of your neck is long, so your chin's not sticking up. And then letting your legs stay where they are, bring your hands down by your sides, arms tucked in next to you. Push the ground away with your palms so that you feel your low back really plants into the ground. And from that, lengthen up through your legs, keeping them together. As you reach up through your legs, create those Barbie doll feet we used in cat presses. So if you look up, you're pressing the balls of your feet up towards the ceiling, yet drawing your toes back towards you and spreading them out from each other. Find as much length in your legs as you can without a whole lot of struggle or shaking. So you might need to bend your knees a little. Inhale into your belly, expand it, and then as you exhale through your mouth, take your legs out towards the bottom end of the mat, just as far as your low back doesn't lift off the ground. And when you get there, bend your knees, draw your thighs in towards your belly, inhale, breathing in through your nose, and then exhaling out through your mouth. Water wheel. If you're not sure what's happening with your belly, as this is meant to be front core work, then bring one hand onto your belly and feel it. Feel that it expands as you bring your legs back towards you, and it drops, it tucks into your back as you exhale through your mouth and you take your legs out away from you. And be really honest with yourself. Feel, where's the point when the belly wants to lift? Where's the point when the low back wants to lift? Just go to the point where your breath supports what you're doing and your low back is supported by your front core, your abdominals. Slow, steady movements mean that you have more control over the breath and more strength in the core. So if you're moving quickly, slow it down. Exaggerate that sound. I know many of us feel self-conscious about breathing out loud, being heard to breathe. But in this case, it allows the jaw to relax, so the jaw isn't trying to do the core work. And it enables you to really hear the breath, so you know where you are in it because you can hear it. You can hear when it starts to shake because your core is really working to tuck into the back. Do 2 more, last 2. Feeling that your belly drops down as your legs go out. Absolutely immaterial how far your legs go, so don't get involved in taking your feet to the ground if that means compromising your core strength in your belly and in your low back. When you finish that set and you tuck your knees back in towards you, give yourself a hug And then release your arms by your sides and take your legs out long onto the ground. Stretch through the heels of your feet. Lengthen your arms above your head. Take a long stretch from your fingers to your feet, letting your belly open. Having engaged it, now give it a good stretch. Take a big breath into that. And turn your palms up this time so they face the sky. Reach your fingers down towards your feet. Slide your shoulder blades underneath you so your upper back is broad. Stretch the heels of your feet away from your head, aligning your ankles with your hips and shoulders so your feet aren't together and they're also not too wide. And then let your feet relax away from each other. If you're feeling your low back, then shift your butt cheeks out to the sides of your sacrum or down towards your heels so you feel more release through your low back. If it feels like the back of your neck is overarched, then tuck your chin down. If it's overstretched, then soften your chin up. Let your eyes close. And as your eyelids close, let your eyes be still. And let go of the breath at this point. Having done such a great job of breathing consciously and changing your breath in this practice, now you can release it. And let yourself be breathed. Notice that. Notice where your breath is in your body. It's probably dropped down into your belly and become a little softer and shallower as you soften. Release any tension in your face so it feels like you're expressionless. Allowing some space to enter between the top and bottom teeth. Relax your tongue. Feel or imagine that your throat is a wide, cavernous channel, not clenched like a boa constrictor. And that your shoulders are broad and burdenless. If you find your mind fixated on any tasks or burdens or stories or sounds around you, use your breath as your home base. Drop your mind, the power of your mind, down into the rhythm of your breath and notice it. See if you can watch your breath without changing it. This posture is integral to the rest of the practice. It's where the body integrates and processes what you've done. Allow your body to feel porous and spacious. So if you notice any areas where you're clenched and pulled up away from the ground and wrapped tight around joints or bones, imagine those areas having more space in them. This is also where the mind has an opportunity to rest that it doesn't normally have in our day-to-day life. So by focusing your mind in a gentle way on the process of letting go of your physical body and on the movement of the breath as it happens, the mind has a chance to rest. And all of this sounds so simple. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy or familiar. So if your mind jumps all over, just bring it back. Notice that and bring it back to the breath, to the moment. If your attention has moved away, bring your awareness back to your breath and deepen your breathing. Let your body stay relaxed, but let your body expand from the inside out as you breathe a little deeper. Same kind of practice we've done in the previous levels of breathing into a relaxed body and seeing how much space you can create with the inhale without pushing, more allowing. And how much you can let go with the exhale. So as you inhale, see if you can fill your pelvic bowl, your belly, your low back, your low ribs, mid ribs, upper ribs, up into the collarbones and neck and shoulders. So you fill the torso, big breath. And you might need to come back into Ujjayi Pranayama to find that. As you deepen the breath, as you lengthen it, somewhere in the next few breaths, take your arms overhead like we did coming into relaxation pose, and actively stretch the breath through your arms and legs. Stretch your body long. And as you reach your arms overhead, lengthen your tailbone down towards your heels, and lengthen the back of your skull up towards your hands, so you have lots of length along your spine. Give that a breath. And roll over to your right side. Stay relaxed. Really easy. Minimal effort to transition out of this resting pose. Keeping your head relaxed, use your left hand in front of you to push the ground away so you uncurl from your side upright, letting your head come up last. And find your comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. So it might be cross-legged, might be kneeling, might be sitting on a block or a blanket to release your hips. Establish your seat, and once you're upright, where you have lots of length in the spine, so using your core that we woke up in this practice to hold you up, then stretch your fingertips down towards the ground and just touch the ground lightly. Feel that you're touching evenly left to right. That'll help keep the shoulders even. Imagine you're breathing from your pelvis, just like we did lying down, from your pelvis up to your neck. As you exhale next, keep all that lift and let your head roll to the right side. As you release the weight of your head, take your next inhale and lift it up from the pelvis, through the belly, through your back and ribs and chest, all the way up into the open left side of your neck, creating a deeper stretch. Keeping the same contact left to right in your hands so your shoulders stay even. You're not rolling your shoulders to follow your head. Feeling both waists are long and even. If you want to intensify this, turn your palms up and tuck your elbows in so you look like Lady Justice with the scales. If that feels like too much and you're not breathing, then just keep your arms long. Give that side of your neck one more inhale, and as you exhale, release your head down along your collarbones. And as you roll through center, hold onto your knees and curve back through your spine. Breathe there for a moment, perhaps rolling your chin along your collarbones if that feels good. As you inhale next, draw yourself upright again and stretch your fingers towards the ground. Roll your head to the left. Finding the angle that you can release the weight of the head without holding tight in the body or breath. Breathing up into the right side of your neck. Does this side feel any different? If it's too intense, you'll know it, because the breath will change or will get lost, or you'll find that you're clenching your jaw, or you'll be trying to hold your head. You can let your head go. This next time that you inhale, lift the space of the breath up into your neck. And as you exhale, release your chin down along your collarbones. When you get to center, keep your head dropped down. Inhale and stretch your arms up overhead, and let your head be lifted up by your chest and your breath. Bringing your head and your arms up, bring your palms together, gather up whatever sort of energy you'd like to carry with you off the mat. Collect it between your hands and draw it down along the center of your body. Acknowledging yourself in your practice, giving yourself a namaste, an acknowledgement of your inner light. If you're practicing with anyone else, acknowledging them as well. Namaste.